board. And welcome. Welcome to our Alexander's Aesthetics webinar series. We love having webinars with Renee because she's just a wealth of knowledge. This is Renee Stufano from EF Tropics, which is the name of her company, who imports in Epilfree, who we purchase it from. So she is our rep, for lack of better words, but is such a wealth of knowledge, and we are always love sharing information with you guys on Epilfree and how it can really increase your business. We know before everybody joined, we were kind of talking about how the industry has just slowed in general. And this is just one way we thought it would be great to do a webinar on this so you can add in a new service that really can bring in different type of clientele, even with your current clientele, and try to get in some more revenue for you guys. So my name is Wendy. I'm the owner of the Alexander's Aesthetics in Colorado. If you guys don't know, but I recognize most of your names. We are a family-run business. So we have two locations, one in California, one in Colorado. My mom, C. Michael, runs the California one. And we're just happy to have you on. Feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. We want to make this interactive. So feel free to ask questions in the chat and we'll just get that off to Renee. And with that, I'll pass it over to Renee and let her do her thing.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to. Oh, there's somebody else getting on. Like 10
I'll let
after.
him in. I will let them
I
in.
already did it. I can't help
Oh,
myself.
good.
Compulsive.
Okay.
I'm a compulsive admitter.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Okay. You have to pin me.
I have to pin you.
Maybe I can do it myself. Let's see if
Okay.
it let me. Okay, I already did it. Yeah, there I am.
There you
No
are.
worries, I got this. I'll just take over. Uh, oh yeah, there's our Epilfree, one of our banners
Yeah.
backwards. Oh, that's so funny. So I'm in another office today that I'm not normally in because our AC is out and the main air conditioning unit that's in the ceiling is in my office. So we got a guy in and out there trying to fix the AC, but back here is still pretty cool.
Okay.
My name is Renee Stufano Ekman. I am the owner of EF Tropics. And as Wendy said, we're the people who bring Epilfree into the US and Canada. And I'm kind of the person who makes sure everyone is trained and knows how to use the system. So Epilfree, as you know, is a permanent hair removal system. That's not a device. So as Wendy was saying, right now for everyone in our industry, everyone is in a bit of a slump. So it's always a great time to introduce something new. If you're currently in the permanent hair removal area, then Epilfree is something you want to add to your tool belt. So we're able to just provide another option. So if you're currently using laser, IPL, or electrolysis, Epilfree is just another option for you. So it will allow you to not turn anyone away. And if you're not offering a permanent hair removal system or not using a device, Epilfree is so easy because you don't need a medical director. You don't need to buy a device. You don't need added liability insurance, and that is a big deal. And what else? No device, no insurance, no medical director. So that's really advantageous. So the way that Epilfree works, it works on an empty follicle. So it's used immediately after waxing, sugaring, threading, or tweezing. And it works on the anagen follicle. So when the hair is pulled out of the follicle, what's left behind is one tiny little hair cell if it's in the anagen phase. If it's in the other two phases, we can't treat those anyway. But if it's in the anagen phase, we pull the hair out of the follicle. What's left in the follicle is one little hair cell. That little hair cell then begins dividing to create a new hair. So that's why when you wax somebody's legs and you they have hair that's in the anagen phase. As soon as you wax that out, it immediately begins to create another hair in the follicle. It's like the magic of the world. Everything starts with 1 cell, 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells. It's fascinating and it's magical. And that's how um, uh, the hair follicle works when it's in the live phase. So when our serums go on, Epilfree actually consists of 2 serums. Our activator is serum A. So immediately after the hair is waxed out, serum A goes on. What that serum does is it blows that follicle open 4 times its natural size, and it begins to target that new little hair cell down there, and it holds it so nothing happens. After the appropriate time, part B goes on. It drops right to the base of the follicle. It halts the duplication of that cell 100%. That cuts off all the energy to the mitochondria. And after 6 hours, that follicle dies. And it's a gentle death. It's it's not harsh in any way. And so in the permanent hair removal modalities that are available to professionals, we have laser, which you know about. Laser has to see color in the hair shaft in order to heat it up. And what the laser device does with a laser beam is heats up the melanin inside the shaft. It burns the base of the follicle. So the follicles that are in the anagen phase, it burns the base of those anagen follicles. The follicle base bleeds, scars over, and that's what keeps it from growing. IPL does the same type of system. The difference is it's a light beam. So the laser beam is actually less damaging to the skin. The light beam is more damaging. And unfortunately, most IPLs are not really strong enough to permanently get rid of the majority of hair. They just aren't. If you have a device over 100,000, the odds are better. Electrolysis, as you know, the hair follicles are electrocuted. And again, electrolysis works only on the anagen phase as well. So the technician puts a needle into the follicle, electrocutes the base of the follicle, and the hair comes out. So Epilfree then is the fourth modality. So it's just another option that's very simple and very effective. So the Epilfree formulas work on every human. The only time they don't work or we don't get a good result is when the hair is not pulled out of the follicle. So we have an advanced wax training the first Monday of every month. We actually have one coming up next month. You can get the link to that from Wendy. And we have a trainer on there who does waxing, who uses Epilfree with it so that you can see exactly how it's done. But it's all about that waxing technique. And as professionals, all of you know, all waxers are not created equal. So if you go to somebody and you have your legs waxed and the hair comes, they actually pull the hair out of the follicle, that waxing lasts a really long time. If the hair is broken off, the hair, it's immediately back in a couple of days, just like you shaved really. So there's a big difference in waxers. So the waxing technique is a big deal. So we're in the same category with laser, IPL, and electrolysis. Again, there are differences in the way that this one works, since it works on an empty follicle. So laser is not really effective for blonde, gray, blonde, gray, red, or vellus hair. Now, I'm not putting laser down when I talk about this. I'm really just letting you know where Epilfree fits into this marketplace as another option or service. And when people think of permanent hair removal, the first thought is laser. So if someone has vellus hair, laser will not work. If they have gray hair, it won't work. If they have tattoos, you can't use a laser and you can't use an IPL. Since Epilfree works on an empty follicle, that modality allows us to use it and have it be very effective for every hair color. So Epilfree works on blonde, red, gray, vellus hair because the system has nothing to do with the hair color. It works on the empty follicle. It also is a great choice for every Fitzpatrick Fitzpatrick's 1, 2, and 3, if they're having laser, can't have a suntan while they're doing it. So that's something to look at. And also Fitzpatrick's 4, 5, and 6, laser is just not the best choice, you guys, especially since we have another option. So the laser devices do cause pigmentation on the sensitive, darker Fitzpatricks. And I've got to tell you, my one of the women who works here with me, her boyfriend bought a little laser device on Amazon. And he has a really dark suntan because we all live in Florida. And he used that device over his whole chest, and he ended up with pigment. And his Fitzpatrick is, he's not an African American. He just has dark skin from being in the sun all the time. And he ended up with dark pigmentation all over his whole chest in streaks where he used the device. So that was pretty icky. But the Epilfree is so gentle because for those Fitzpatricks, because it works on the empty follicle. Now, the serums, the Epilfree serums, I want you to know are 100% natural. They were developed by a scientist in Israel by the name of Dr. Yoel Konis. Dr. Konis was, he passed away a few years ago. That's why I'm using past tense. A botanical cosmetic research scientist, as well as a botanical pharmaceutical research scientist. So he worked on in one particular area for a number of years, creating creams and solutions for skin diseases that had really rapid duplication of cells, like out of control duplication, like eczema, psoriasis, acne, and even skin cancer. So while doing trials, he had, a few hundred people using the cream for eczema, using the cream for different things. And people who had the issues on their scalp noticed after a few months their hair stopped growing in places where the eczema was. And the same thing for like men with really hairy arms. And his wife, Dr. Konis's wife, is a cosmetician in Israel, and she told him that we don't have options, or didn't have options to permanently get rid of hair for people that weren't devices, that weren't expensive, that didn't damage the skin. So he set off on creating something, and darn it, he did it, because that's exactly the way Epilfree works. It stops that cell duplication. So it's really interesting. So in comparing it to other modalities that are there, the skin color, the hair color do not matter because it works on the empty follicle. There's no contraindication for the sun, no side effects. The only contraindication at all is we ask our professionals not to use it on pregnant or breastfeeding women. And it's not because there's a chemical reason or a scientific reason. The reason is because the gentlemen that own the company don't want to be part of the mix if someone has an issue with their pregnancy. So that's the only reason. So because of that, we honor that request, and we have since Epilfree was launched. We launched the first Epilfree in 2006. So it's not new in the marketplace. It's been around over 16 years. We're in 33 countries and have done well over 12 million treatments globally. So it's been around. This isn't like it's something new. It's owned by, the formulation and the manufacturing is by a small boutique manufacturing company in Israel. And they have kept the formulations themselves. They have been offered by a lot of companies to purchase it, but they just keep it themselves. So if you have never heard of Epilfree or you're just learning about it, the reason for that is there's not a gazillion bucks behind it marketing. So we do the best we can to get it out there, and it's a professional product. So we do have Epilfree USA does have Google ads going all the time to bring it to the attention of the consumer, and try to get them to our spas that are in the United States. So the serums themselves, as I said, are 100% natural. And one of the big pluses is that the skin is in better condition after the treatment than before you do the treatment. So that's really a big plus. So if you're dealing with people with PCOS, acne, or some of those issues that cause women to have unwanted facial hair, this does a lot to just clear up the skin as well. So the ingredients are very healing. It's all natural herbs that are sourced from the finest places in Europe. And the serum itself is really potent. I do live trainings. There's one coming up next Monday. If you're interested in becoming certified, you have to be certified to use it in the United States. So we'd love to have you at the real training. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours long, something like that. And by the time it's over, you will feel confident to get started with the Epilfree in your location. So it's a very comprehensive training. So all right, so Epilfree works over tattoos, you guys. That's a big plus. I happen to have tattoos. A lot of people have tattoos right now. And tattoos look so much better without hair on them. So I don't know if you've ever seen a guy who's got the whole arm full of tattoos and a whole arm full of hair. It looks really good to have that hair off. It works on white hair, blonde hair. So if you're offering laser or IPL right now, and if you have a guy who comes in who has a gray hair all over his chest and arms and tattoos, you have to turn him away. So this will enable you to tell him you're not a candidate for laser, but you are a candidate for Epilfree, and start him on the treatments. So it just adds another tool, or it can, of course, be a service on its own, and you treat it just like it's a laser device. So it's really interesting to talk about permanent hair removal, and I'm going to tell you a few of the things that I would talk about in the training about face and body hair. And this is really interesting information. It's also part of the consultation that you would use with your customer. So the human body has 5 million hair follicles. Okay, well, we try to relate everything to everything we can in our mind, like, okay, 5 million hair follicles, whatever. And on my scalp right now is growing maybe 100,000 hair follicles, but that still seems like a lot. If those were growing on my face, I would not look as pretty as I look with my face like this. So it's obvious that most of the follicles on the face and the body are in a resting phase all the time. So if this is, oh, I hope I can share the screen. Can I share the screen? Oh,
Yeah,
I
you should be
can
able to.
share.
Yeah, because you're co-host.
I can share the screen. Okay, good. Let me just move this down a little bit. I just want to, let me just get a couple of my, the things I wanted to share with you guys up so that I can see them. Okay. Okay. All right. So if this is only 100,000 follicles on my head, what would I look like if all 5 million follicles were growing at the same time? Well, basically, I would look just like this. Chewbacca. So this is a really great visual. Or take a look at your doggy. I always tell people I would look like my dog Kevin. This is a really good visual, and this is about what our scalp looks sort of like this, that mini hairs, but we don't see all this happening because the hair actually goes through the 3 cycles. So if you kind of put it in your mind that what we're attempting to do is to go from this look to gorgeous, to glamorous, to no hair at all. So I'm going to say 95% of the population has hair somewhere on their body they don't want. Chewbacca probably doesn't want any of it. So what we're trying to accomplish is we're trying to go from Chewbacca to no hair. Okay, well, this is a big undertaking and a whole lot of when you're going to be offering permanent hair removal, and you may be offering it already, it's important that you understand, it's important that your client understand what we're undertaking. There is no magic bullet to permanently get rid of hair. In 2024, We think there has to be a magic bullet because we have magic bullets for everything else. I can order anything I want to from Amazon and I can have it tomorrow. If I do it the right way, I can even have it today. So we've lost the ability to wait for the things that we want or the things that are important. And when you're talking about, I'm doing stuff with my screen, sorry guys. When you're talking about permanently removing hair, we've got 5 million hair follicles to address there. And those hair follicles rotate through different cycles of growth. So the hair follicle has 3 different cycles. I'm going to show you this. The anagen phase, the catagen phase, and the telogen phase. The anagen phase is the live follicle. The hair is attached to the body. There's blood there. There's oxygen there. Everything's happening in this follicle. From the anagen phase, the hair moves into the catagen cycle. The catagen cycle, the hair is separated from the body. There's no blood there. There's no oxygen there. This follicle is basically dormant already. The hair may be there or may not be. It goes from the catagen phase to the telogen phase. That's where the hair sheds off. And the hair can stay in the telogen phase anywhere from 2 weeks to 20 years. And I know that's a rash statement, but I invite all of you to Google your hearts out. I've been doing permanent hair removal with the Epilfree since 2006. I've had people, examples. I had one woman whose underarms we did many, many years ago. And everything was great. 5 years into it, she began growing a little patch under each other underarm. Now, she wasn't fast to say it didn't work because she already understood the cycles of hair growth, that those hair follicles can come out of that telogen phase anytime. We have no control of that. And the hair rotates in and out of these 3 cycles all the time. I had another customer who I had done her arms 10 years. And after 10 years, she had areas growing back in on both arms in the same place. Well, obviously, those follicles had been dormant. So the telogen phase can stay for a really long time. The only stage Epilfree will work on is the anagen phase hair. Laser, IPL, and electrolysis, all of those systems work only on the anagen follicle hair. So we're on an even playing field with every device that's out there. The difference, of course, is it's not a device. It's something that's used in a different way, a different modality, which is timely. I mean, come on, we should have different options to choose from to get what we need, regardless of whether you're a medical clinic with a whole lot of devices or you're a solo spa. With a solo spa, you can offer Epilfree and treat everyone. If you have medical devices, then you need another option. Electrolysis has been the go-to option. Electrolysis is very time consuming. And again, I'm not putting anybody down. That's not my intent. But the fact of the matter is, it's a very tedious job for people to do. It takes a really long time. You can only do 15 minutes at a time. And to do a set of legs would take years. So if you're offering electrolysis, this is a great option to bring in to get rid of all that hair first. So laser can reduce to 85%. I'm going to say the average is between 70 and 75. So there reaches a plateau that you're just not going to get any further. There's so many hairs, you've gotten most of them out of there. There are few hairs left. At that point, then the people have always been transferred to electrolysis, then to finish. Epilfree too. Epilfree can reduce to 85%. I'm going to say the reduction is maybe 5% higher than laser. And I think that has something to do with the fact that it's a serum that goes into the body. And I think that changes everything rather than just be a surface device that's heating up the follicles. So our average, I'm going to say, is between 75 and 80. So I think a laser is between 70 and 75. IPL is much lower because of the strength of the device. So Epilfree is an option for you to be able to bring in and start offering permanent hair removal right away. It's a high dollar system. The Epilfree, there isn't any area of the body you can't use Epilfree on. So it comes in 3 different kits. This is our facial care kit. So each kit is designed for the area being treated for the skin there, and also about the amount of area we're covering. So the face is all little tiny areas. These are our facial care bottles. In this kit, you're going to get 40 full faces. So, and of course, in our training, I offer a lot of tips and tricks how to save products so you don't overdo it. And it's a very potent solution. It's designed for the delicate skin of the face and also for the small areas you'll be using it on. The facial care kit runs $299. Then we have an intimate kit. Intimate areas would be underarm, around the nipple, happy trail from the belly button down, the whole Brazilian area, around the anus and the inside of the upper thigh. The skin in the intimate areas is the thickest skin on the body. The scalp, of course, is the thickest. The intimate area is next. So if you were going to do a man's scalp, you would definitely want to use the intimate kit because the formulation is designed to penetrate that thicker skin. Also, the serums in the intimate care kit are more delicate than the face. So that's an important thing to realize because a lot of times people will be working on someone's face and that hair is so coarse that it reminds them of pubic hair. So they think they should use the intimate on the face. And it seems like it would be stronger because it's working on like coarse hair, but it isn't. So we're actually working on the skin. The Epilfree treatment doesn't have anything to do with the hair coming out of the follicle. It's only the skin. So the intimate formulation is designed to go through that thicker skin, and it's also more delicate than the face. You have in here 40 full Brazilians. So you're going to get a lot of treatments out of the intimate area kit. And then we have the body care kit. Oh, I don't have my bottles here. So this is the body care kit. The bottles are really big in here, you guys. And the formulation of the body care is designed for the 3rd type of skin, which is arms, legs, chest, and back. It's also designed to go over a large area really easy. So the amount of ingredients in here is a lot more dense than the other ones. And also the viscosity is different. It's easy to spread. So you'll see when you start using this and when you take the training, I have a video of a guy's back that I do, or I do his back in real life. And I do a large area. Sometimes I do faces, but you'll see with the large areas that comes with the spray, you just spray it on, it goes all over so easily. It just glides on. So I used to say you could get 40 sets of legs out of this body care kit, but the size of people has really changed in the last 10 to 15 years. That's how long Epilfree has been out. So I can't say that. But when we talk about pricing, how to charge your customers, we do suggest that you do not quote prices for body till you see the person with your own eyes. So just to make sure you're going to make your profit back. So these 3 kits, if you're going to buy them, if you purchase them separately, the body care kit, I'm sorry, is $599. And if you purchase them separately, like start with the face, then add, it would be $1,297 for all 3 kits. When you purchase them together as a back bar, we knock off $150 and you get it for $1,147. Your profit back from that investment is somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000, depending on your demographic and your spa. We don't we never advertise it as being less expensive than laser or more affordable than laser. Anything like that, of course, makes you feel like it's a second choice because it isn't the second choice. If you want to advertise it as being better than laser, you're welcome to do that. And if you've noticed, you'll never see Epilfree on Groupon because we have a no Groupon policy. It's not a budget product and it's not a budget uh, service for your clients. So you can use the same pricing that the laser areas use in your sorry guys, laser clinics use in your area. Where I am in South Florida, the laser industry has pretty much committed suicide because everybody got on Groupon and started cutting prices. And first it was the dermatologists had it, and the estheticians started getting it, in medical spas, then started opening up laser clinics. In Florida, you can get 6 laser treatments for $99 any day of the week. So we don't want that to happen with Epilfree. So kind of you can go sort of what's in your area. In Florida, they advertise Epilfree as being a more exclusive treatment than laser, really, because the prices remain at a nice price point so that you're able to make a profit from the Epilfree service. So the beauty of it is it works on every person. We don't have a minimum age. So we have lots of pros using this right now on children. So we have 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds who are really hairy, and they're going to take a beating if they have to go to school and through life with that hair. And everybody pretty much knows it now, but for a while we were getting lots of calls from professionals who a parent had their daughter there or their son there, and could they treat that child? And of course they can. That's up to the parent. The ingredients, you guys, are 100% natural. It has no side effects. There's no contraindications with the sun. In the 15 years, 16 years that I've been involved with it, we had one woman who had an allergy, a legitimate allergy to lavender, and she had an issue. In the training too, I recommend that if you're going to treat someone who's never been waxed or never been sugared, depending on whatever system you like the best, that you wax them first once or twice before you add the Epilfree to it. A lot of times on a first waxing, people will have a histamine reaction, they'll have all kinds of stuff happening, and sometimes the first and second time. So it's always a good idea to make sure you wax them a couple of times first. Our sugaring trainer, if she gets someone who's never been sugared, she sugars them 3 times before she starts with the Epilfree. So we can make sure that if there is a reaction, it's not from the Epilfree serums, that it is in fact about the epilation. Okay. So we want to make sure that the two aren't tied together.
Renee, there's a question that
Sure.
Jenna has. She is wondering if you can use Epilfree in conjunction with someone who's also doing laser IPL or electrolysis to amplify the results.
Yes. The whole thing is that they have to have hair, though. There has to be enough hair to wax it out. So say somebody's doing laser treatments, and it depends on the area. So the time between the treatments that we suggest for the face is 14 days in between treatments, or increments of 14. So if they can't make it on the 14th day, we want them in on the 28th day. If they can't make the 28th day, we want them the 42nd day. For body and intimate areas, we want to get them into a schedule of 21 days or 3 weeks. So they would come at the 3-week, 6-week, or 9-week day. Laser, I think they do every 4 weeks or every 5 weeks, something like that. With our method, we're able to push that hair into a cycle, and the hair needs to be grown out enough to take out. So I'm going to say with laser and IPL, I would pick one. I would do laser, IPL, or Epilfree, because they don't really, the hair has to be shaved off really to do laser, and it has to grow in enough to do the Epilfree. I think with electrolysis, it's a great idea because they can have hair there as well, so they could still get electrolysis with the Epilfree. The only thing Epilfree needs is 6 hours after the treatment. So if you do somebody's Epilfree treatment, that area has to be left alone for 6 hours. So for 6 hours, they can't put on makeup, deodorant, lotion, oils, powders, nothing on the skin at all. and after 6 hours, they're free. So they essentially could do an Epilfree treatment. And as soon as there's visible hair there for electrolysis, they can do electrolysis in between. That's fine. So with electrolysis, you can't get that many hairs, really. You can work on the ones that are there, but it's to do a large area takes a lot of sitting. I think I would say with laser and IPL, I would just pick one. I would do either laser or Epilfree. That's really more how I would address it. So laser has definite candidates, but there are a lot of people who aren't candidates. So those are the people you would definitely want to use Epilfree on.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that's it. We have any other questions?
No, not yet, but
Okay. All
feel
right.
free
So
to chat me and
yeah, you guys,
the
if you have
attendees.
any questions, just put them in the chat. I'm happy to answer everything. I've been working with Epilfree from its inception, and I was fortunate enough to be a good friend of Dr. Konis, who developed it, and he developed a lot of other brands as well. But it was really an honor to be friends with him, and I learned so much about the science of Epilfree and how it works. So it's really interesting. The first question customers are going to ask you is, how long is it going to take? That's probably your first question too. So the average amount of treatments necessary are somewhere between 8 and 12. Same thing with laser. Now, occasionally you'll get a person who'll come in and they'll do 6 Epilfree treatments and that's it. Nothing's happened. Same thing with laser. They come in, get 6 laser treatments and that's it. Other people will have to have 10 sessions of laser. So everyone is different. No two people have the same cycles of hair growth. No two areas of one body have the same cycles of hair growth, which of course I go through all of this in the training so that you can let your client know exactly what to expect. Over the years, I've heard people say, I had laser and it didn't work. I had laser and my hair came back. You guys have all heard it. I promised myself years ago, I never wanted to hear that about Epilfree. And because of that, we put together the training is very, very comprehensive. And the consultation is, there are two most important things, the consultation and getting the hair out of the follicle. But the consultation is essential for you and your mindset and for the patient and their mindset. So this isn't a clinic where we work like a factory where people come in one after another and we do their laser treatment, send them home, give them a little information, whatever. We really educate the client so that they understand the process that they're in. This is not an easy process to permanently get rid of hair. We want them to understand exactly what we're undertaking. And laser, as I said, Epilfree works on every human. So the first question is going to be, how long is it going to take? All right, the average amount is 8 to 12. I've seen people finished after 2 treatments. I've seen people finished after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've had some people I've had to work on for 20 treatments. When it comes to hormonal facial hair, that's a horse of a different color. And we have a part of our training is called our PCOS training. And in that training, even it's called PCOS, but that encompasses every issue that would cause women to have male patterned hair. We also have in our training material a hair pack that has an array of issues that cause women to have unwanted facial hair and body hair, both internal stuff that's happening within the body and external. And there are external sources that can cause that to happen. Stress is one of them. So there's so many things that one can do for themselves. And we do have a lot of options for the client who has PCOS, hirsutism. Cushing's disease can cause that. IVF therapy can cause that. HRT, of course. So we go through all of that and then let you know exactly what to expect so you can let your patient know exactly what to expect. And if you're in the permanent hair removal area now, you have heard many times of people who've had laser, they have hormonal facial hair, menopausal hair, it's always hormonal, who've had 3 or 4 sessions with laser. They've had electrolysis. They've had this. They've had that. So many different things. So it's important that you know exactly what's going to happen so that you can let your patient know exactly what's going to happen. So, uh,
Renee, another
yeah,
question came in. Is the PCOS training in the certification,
yeah.
or is it a separate training?
No, it's in the certification. The certification is going to be I'm going to say average 2.5 hours. And it's a long training, and I talk just as fast as I'm talking right now, but I seriously cover any question that somebody would ask you about Epilfree. You're going to have the answer to it, or about permanent hair removal. Permanent hair removal is not oh yeah, I'm getting laser. I will not have any hair before you know it. It isn't like that. So there's some people that go that maybe they have 95% reduction. It happens fast. Same thing with Epilfree. Then there's some people who have to keep going, going, going. Same with Epilfree. So the average, as I said, the average amount of treatments are between 8 and 12. Some people may need more. Some people happen fast. So we have a spa in Aspen, Colorado, and I got a text from the esthetician there with a picture of a woman's underarms. And she texted, my customer is really upset. This is her 5th treatment. So I just called her up and I said, why is she upset? Well, she had had her legs done and her legs were finished in 5 treatments. Her underarms still look like it did when it started, which is normal. I mean, if you got 5 million hair follicles to get rid of, when people come in for their 2nd treatment, 3rd treatment, 4th treatment, 5th treatment, I want to see hair there because I know there's a lot of hair I have to get rid of. I want to see hair. So I know every time I do a treatment, any of the hair that's in the anagen phase is never going to grow again. And that's a lot of hair, but there's a heck of a lot of hair follicles on the body. So there's several times if they come in with a lot of hair, I'm very happy. I want to get rid of the hair, but that's what I'm waiting for. And as I said, we have specific time increments that if your client can get on a schedule like that, we have been able to really push the anagen cycle into more of a schedule, which has been fantastic.
Renee,
So
can I share the slide that Farhana had put together with one of our clients, showing her results with Epilfree with a PCOS client?
sure, you want me to make you the host too? We can
I
be
think
co.
I'm co-host with you. I just wanted to make
Then,
sure. I don't want to interrupt what you're doing, but I thought it would be a
oh
good,
no, I'm
it would
totally free form. No,
be
no
a
worries.
good time to do that. And there's an option that I can share the sound because she has a video too.
Oh,
So
good.
let's see if this will work.
It's gonna work. I have a good feeling.
Yeah. So this is a client in Colorado that is been our longtime client before we carried Epilfree and brought on Epilfree. And we've asked her to give us some information just to help us, understand her journey. So this is pictures of her client before the treatment. This is 14 days later, before her second treatment, and this is before her 3rd treatment. So you can see the amazing results that she has had. She's just so happy, and this client feels so good because hasn't had an option for this. So let's see if this video will work. Let me know if you can hear it.
All of my clients who
Can you
come
hear
through for
it?
their waxing services are now doing non-laser permanent hair removal with Epilfree. It has been really
Can you hear
life-changing
it?
for a lot of my
Yeah,
clients.
it's low. If you can turn it up, it'd be great, but we can hear it.
Yeah. Let me start it over.
No, we can hear it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to
All of my clients who come through
turn
for
it
their
up.
waxing services are now doing non-laser. All of my clients who
Oh,
come through
sorry
for their
about that.
waxing services are now
That's
doing
all I can
non-laser
do.
permanent hair removal with Epilfree. It has been really life-changing for a lot of my clients. I have many who have struggled with PCOS and unwanted facial hair, and to see them go from shaving a few times a week to being able to go a month between treatments and just seeing the boost in their confidence, I think that overall has been one of the biggest impacts that I see in my practice for my clients, and it's very rewarding for myself as well. I would absolutely recommend Epilfree to other estheticians. I think this is a game changer in the treatment room, and we can not only meet our clients' expectations for hair removal, but we can exceed them.
All right. Thank you for letting me share that.
That was great.
Yeah, I think it's important to see a real, I mean, your information is fabulous, so nothing, but to see a client that came to us, you know, that had been a client and really tried it out and just is finding great results. We have a couple others like that as well, but wanted to
Yeah,
share that.
yeah, that's great. And we do have before and after pictures. It's
Yeah, I know you do.
yeah, it's a really it's an amazing treatment. And as I said, the main thing is to make sure you're getting that hair out of the follicle. And that can be so frustrating. I've had a lot of pros get really mad at me because the hair is not coming out of the follicle. I mean, and that's really a big deal, you guys. So the second question people are going to ask you is, what's the active ingredient that kills the follicle? What, because it seems like there should be something in there. There is no one active ingredient. It's the exact combination of the herbs that Dr. Kona has put together that create a mechanism. This mechanism goes into the follicle, halts the duplication of cells. That little baby cell never duplicates once. It halts that duplication and asphyxiates the follicle after 6 hours. So if there were one ingredient taken out, it wouldn't work. That's why in the training, we're very specific about the protocol. This treatment itself is easy. It's not even going to add time onto your waxing service, but there are a few things you have to do. For example, this is the facial care kit. A, activator. B is toner. That's the one that goes on second. If a client comes in with clean skin, and then you take a baby wipe and wipe their face with the baby wipe, and then put this on, you've added whatever ingredients are in the baby wipe to our perfect formula. So part of the protocol is you don't put anything on their skin prior to the treatment. No pre-wax, nothing, no water, no alcohol, no witch hazel, because you're adding something to this perfect formula. So the formulation itself creates the mechanism. There isn't one strong ingredient. This is all natural herbs that work together to stop that duplication. Cool, right? Okay, so let's have some questions, you guys.
One
We'd
thing I
love
want to one thing I want to bring up, Renee, is the type of wax that needs to be used. So at Alexander's Aesthetics, obviously we are a hair removal company, so our business is selling a lot of wax. And so one of the reasons we wanted to partner with you is because of the numerous waxes that we have that work with Epilfree. But do you want to talk about how it has to
yeah.
be a specific
Yeah.
wax?
Absolutely. So sugar, you can use any kind of sugar. That's not an issue. With the wax, however, we want you to use a wax with no rosin or rosinate. So there are a lot of waxes out right now that have a synthetic resin. And the synthetic resin is actually a plastic-based wax. And that's perfect because it doesn't leave any residue on the skin. So we ask that you don't use rosin or rosinate in the wax. And I have to tell you guys, Alexander's is the best partner for Epilfree. We love these guys so much. They're really great, and their customers too. All of you, everyone that we've met has been so wonderful, and they're really doing a wonderful job with the Epilfree. So I'm honored to be able to work with them.
Thank you. We are too. Um, what I will do, let me pop my video back on if I can figure out how to do that. There we go.
If you can give them the link to
Yeah,
join the certification on
I did. I
Monday.
included that in the chat.
Okay,
What I'm
good.
going to do, I wanted to let everybody know we did record this. What I'll do is I'll send the recording, a link to the recording, as well as a link to the certification. If you can make sure to use the link that I send for the certification because it tells Renee that it comes from us, that would be fantastic. And I will also send a link to the waxes that we carry at Alexander's, which is off the top of my head, we have at least 15 waxes from
Wow,
each of our product lines
that's
that
great.
are resin free. So we have a lot of options to choose from. And so we'll send that as well. So I think that will cover it. So I'll send that in an email after.
I'm just taking over your Zoom here.
You're good. Um, Are there any other questions before we take off? Because it's 11 o'clock here in Colorado, 1 o'clock in Florida.
You can
So,
you can unmute and ask too if you want to.
yeah.
We're happy to have a conversation. So the products are applied immediately after waxing. Yeah, well, one of them is. There are times between it, which of course you'll get all the timings at the training. So part A goes on immediately after waxing. Then there's a length of time in between before part B goes on, depending on whether you're doing a small area or a large area. But A always goes on right after. And there are great techniques to doing a large area at a time, depending on what type of waxer you are. I'm a strip waxer, so I wax when I do Epilfree on the body. I use cartridges. Enables me to work really quickly. For underarms and intimate areas, Brazilian, I use a stick and strips. So it just depends on what type of wax you have. But yeah, the part A has to go on immediately. And we do a lot of talking about the wax. So when you do your wax, you should be getting 99% of that hair out on the first pull. If not, then you need to warm your wax up a little bit more, upgrade your wax. That's something for sure Wendy can help you with. But yeah, it needs to come out in one pull and you've got to get it out of the follicle.
Okay. And then Jenna just asked one more question. Just to clarify, no pre or post waxing products if you're going to be putting on Epilfree.
Yeah, nothing. You'll see, yeah. And when you go through the training, I'm really clear about that. Your client is going to cleanse the area at least an hour before the treatment to give the skin a chance to get back to its natural pH. You're not going to use any pre-wax. You're only going to have clean skin, wax without rosin, and Epilfree. No post-treatment either. For 6 hours, your patient has to leave that area alone. We don't want them to go home and put makeup on and go out. We don't want them to go sweat somewhere. We don't want them to take a shower. That's important because if they do, they're going to ruin your treatment. So, and we also talk a lot about if you have women who are sweaters, people go through menopause, different things like that. There is a pill out now for hot flashes, which is great. That's a game changer. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have different things that we do in the treatment room. Like we have them drinking ice water an hour before their appointment. Then we have fans going on in the office. We put ice packs under their neck. We have somebody go out and turn the AC on in their car full blast and get them right out the door into the AC. So even though the treatment is easy peasy, I mean, it's fast, it's easy to do. You're going to become a much better waxer, that's for sure. There are just few little quirky things you have to know. Do them all and get the hair out, and you're going to be so happy with the results. It's wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Renee. Appreciate it so much. And thank you for joining, you guys. We appreciate it. Stay tuned for other webinars that we have coming up. They're posted on our education calendar on our website. And it's always a pleasure to have Renee on with us. And I will follow up with everyone with a link as well. So thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Can you post your website link? Yes, I'll send that in the email that I send, Jenna. I'll put the link to our education.
And I hope I get to see everybody on Monday. Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's make some money.
It's
That's
every
what I'm about.
Monday now, right? Every Monday you're doing it?
Well, right now, I want to do them every Monday, but it's still kind of on that every other Monday rotation.
Okay.
So I'm just putting together the whole schedule now for the rest of the year in 2025. So yeah, I will get it in every.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody. I will be sending an email later today, and we appreciate it. And like always, feel free to reach out to Alexander's Aesthetics, either the California office or the Colorado office. We have on-staff estheticians here, and we love talking all skincare all day. So feel free to give us a call if you have any questions or follow up. All right. Thank you, Renee.
Hi, my pleasure.
All right. Take care.